Do you want me to say any more?
No, it's all right. I'm going to start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Lovely People webinar. And this evening, we've got lovely Sue Anderson with us. Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Me too. So normally what we do on these is basically you can take the floor if you're good with that. Would you like to tell us how you came across the principles?
Yes, certainly.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, and I'm open for any questions at any one point.
Yeah, lovely. If you start with your story, and then we'll see if people have got questions and stuff. And
okay, then.
Thank you.
I can't. Don't ask me the year because I can never remember the year it all come about. But I had living by me Julian Freeman and Beck.
Yeah.
Who used to pass my business that was called Be All You Can. And it was a training and conference centre. And they drove past this sign of this business called Be All You Can for for quite a number of times. And then at one point they decided to come in. When they come in, they actually liked the feeling of the place and they started to talk to me about the business. And they just kept saying to me, we love the feeling, we love the feeling. So I was like, oh, thank you very much, thank you very much. And anyway, they did a little bit of volunteering for me. And the business we've been running for about 5 years, and we were just about coming to the end of the lease of the property. And Julian had said, oh, I've got a guy from America who I'd like to invite over to do a retreat or a workshop or something. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, no problem, no problem. So the gentleman that got invited was Dickie Bettinger. So unbeknownst, I don't know the guy, but I was looking forward to meeting him. And I got to meet him first of all on Skype, and we had a conversation. And, straight away we hit it off. And Dickie and Coisy come over. And that was the first kind of inkling of this thing called the 3 principles or whatever that I ever had. I didn't even research it after I knew that Dickie was coming. I just thought, looking forward to meeting them. That's fab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't remember. I think we had about 20 people to that weekend. But honestly, Lucy, it blew my heart wide open. And all I can say is I just felt like I'd come home. And it felt so familiar, lots of things that he was saying. I thought, I've known this all of my life. I feel like I've lived this all of my life. It was great. And I think I cried with joy most of the weekend. So that was the first kind of introduction, really. And from that point on, everything's just been a roller coaster ride. So we actually closed the business, and it was really interesting because I think I told you when we first spoke.
Yeah.
What happened was there was a 3PCG conference on in St. Paul's, Minnesota, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to book a flight. I'm going to go to the conference for 4 days. Never done anything like that in the whole of my entire life before. And just got on with it. Got there, the first person that we walked into in the hotel was Dickie. I had arms wide open. He hadn't a clue that we were going. We didn't expect to see him. It was like fantastic. And it was really interesting, that whole conference, because it felt like the first time the community had got together since Sid had died. So it felt, the feeling was phenomenal. The whole 4 days, it was fantastic. And in the whole of, there was about 400 people there, and a fantastic program like there always is. And we got sitting on the second row. And in the first row, there was these lovely people that kept talking to us and turning round. And it was people like Elsie, George, Linda, Bill, the whole kit and caboodle. I couldn't believe it. It was almost like meeting the whole of the elders in one fell swoop, and it was like, oh, this is just meant to be.
They're all so loving.
And then what happened after the conference, because those times when you feel so full up, I felt like that from the inside out. So I flew like,
Hi, did you lose me?
are you all right?
Yeah.
You're freezing, Lucy?
Yeah, it just goes unstable sometimes here. Can you hear me?
Is everybody still there? Lucy's... Yeah.
Hello.
I've still got you.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on as you...
Well, I was just basically saying that the first year when I got back from that kind of like... was very quiet. And that's before I decided to do anything else really, Lucy. So the story that progresses from that was I wanted to develop a community in the Northeast.
Yeah.
And that's where the stories continued, really. So what I've done is what's this? Thought it was Deb hosting, otherwise I'm muddled. Who's Lucy? Oh, bless.
Sorry, Deb's busy this evening. You've just had to put up with me.
Oh, bless. Lucy's the gorgeous Lucy Sheffield.
Lovely Lulu.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to let you know a little bit of kind of like what's been going on in the Northeast. So I wanted to develop a community here, and like I've done a lot of community work all of my life. My background is community development, and I just thought, do you know what? I'll just get on with it. I'll go out and I'll share what I know. And what's happened with that is I kind of pretty much wrote on a piece of paper a kind of program. I made something up. And I got out there, and I've kind of done a 6-week program in the community for the past, I think it's probably about 3 years, maybe. Over about 400 people listen to this.
Wow, that's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, and counting, because there's lots of referrals and recommendations now. And off the back of that, we have monthly meetups. And then I think some people might be aware that the other thing that we've done is we've had 2 innate health conferences in the Northeast recently. So, we're gathering a little bit of a momentum, really. So that's been my organic growth of things. And I've just recently completed the iHeart program, because a lot of adults were coming through the program saying, well, what about the children?
Yeah.
So I thought, do you know what? I just need another string to my bow here that might support more work in the area. So that's what I've been doing. But interestingly, on the community program, Lucy, the other interest for me is where I'm based. It's multicultural. And I've had all sorts of cultures, all sorts of religions, men and women, the whole gamut of people come on the program, which has been really exciting. And then when I dropped in leaflets, then we started into the GP surgeries. We started to get police officers, job centre plus advisors, social workers, nurses, teachers. Oh man, honestly, it's been fantastic.
That's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, really, really lovely.
Mm.
And not one of the programs, as you can well imagine, is the same.
No, exactly. Yeah. It's always different, isn't it, with different people?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. Deb and Beck have been at the North Devon show today.
Fantastic.
And they were up early and doing that, and we went along. Me and Ju went along, and Gillian Pierce. Yeah, she said she knew you as well, and so we all went along this afternoon and hung out with them for a little bit, and it went a bit quieter later on, but this morning they said they just had floods of people. It's huge there, and it's quite different because it's an agricultural show, so obviously this isn't really agricultural, the principles, but they said they had so much interest, and we've got like I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, we've got ourselves a massive banner, and we've put the words like we want to make North Devon the most mentally healthy, stable place to live. So that seemed to attract a lot of people because mental health is so important at the moment, isn't it?
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, so they've had loads of interest, and I can't remember if I said to you about our conference that we're doing in September.
Yeah.
So we did a little competition where people could win a free ticket as well. So, loads of people were interested in doing this competition, and the idea of winning something for free, and it means like they're signed up to our mailing list as well, which is great because we do our daily inspirations and stuff like that. So it was well worth going, I think, today. I think they're quite tired out.
I bet they are. It's quite surprising, just
it is
being there in the moment with people.
Yeah. But they seem to get a lot of interest, which is really good. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I think the exciting thing for me as well is I've had conversations with young people, and when you speak from your heart and when you speak the truth, it doesn't matter about age. People just want to hear. They want to share that love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been lucky. My niece, when she was 15, went through a lot of school, and she'd come to me and had a lot of time with me. And little by little, I dropped seeds, and that was fantastic. And just recently, she's just done the program again because she said, "I need a top up, Auntie Sue," and it was. She's now going off to university in Amsterdam.
Oh wow!
And it's kind of, she just wanted to get, just a sense of like turning that fear into excitement and knowing it's to think like her thinking. She'll create the best time ever,
Oh, that would be so good for her to go out there as well.
Yeah. And then the other bit of excitement on the other end of the family is my mum's 85.
Yeah.
And, I think she comes on every time I run a program, Mum's on it. So it's kind of like, she's the greatest 85-year-old that's living in the moment and just like writing whatever chapter of her life in the best way possible.
Oh, bless her. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. It's so lovely when you get this understanding and then you see the impact on your family and friends and stuff. That's the biggest. That's the best story to tell, isn't it? Really, when you're impacted and they see it in you.
Yeah, and some of the kind of, I was going to call them miracles, but some of the just beautiful things that happen when you're with people in the moment and just seeing them raw and hear something really deep inside. It's just like the best thing. It's just like. It's just beautiful to witness, really.
It is.
Yeah.
It's lovely. So what would you say, Sue, is like the best thing or the biggest thing that's happened for you since coming across the principles? Like, I don't know, your biggest insight or
Oh,
best, I
right.
don't know, just the best thing about it.
Yeah. Okay. The best one for me is about love.
Mm,
And, I've come from a very loving family, but I heard something really deep. I went to a workshop with Chip and Jan,
yeah.
and I can't even remember if they called it "What's Love Got to Do with It" or whatever. I don't know. I cannot remember a thing that was said in the 3 days. But all I know and all I feel is that the depth of the love that I feel for myself and mankind, humankind, whatever, the universe, is like limitless. Like, I don't have the words for it sometimes, Lucy.
I know.
It's just oh yeah, it's just it's phenomenal, really. That for me has been massive.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I think the other one is that whole thing about falling back. It's like when you're feeling yourself going into something and you just fall back out of it and just go.
I think I've gone unstable again, so I don't know if you can hear me. So carry on if you can.
Yeah, when everything strips away and there's nothing else in the room, there's just a feeling. And it's, yeah.
I know what you mean. It brings me to tears when I get in that place. The feeling is just so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
And you see the beauty in everything, don't you? And
Yeah,
that connection.
absolutely. The other thing for me as well is that I've been round my auntie dying, and that was a real learning curve, and I got a real sense of that connection. And she had vascular dementia and she couldn't speak, but her eyes would sparkle. It was almost like you didn't need some of the words.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember she used to love Nana Muscuri, so I'd play some music, and like, you could see kind of that connection. And just for the whole time, I just didn't need any words with her.
Yeah.
And it was even when she passed, there was no words required. And it was really interesting because 8 weeks later, my uncle, her husband, passed as well, and I was with him. And even that was gentle and beautiful and peaceful. And like, even when the spirit lifted, it felt the connection. My heart just filled. And it was like, oh my goodness, they're not here in form, but I can feel them.
Mm.
And it was like, oh, it was great.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like death is probably a big one for a lot of people to understand, but definitely that's one of the shifts and things I've seen around understanding the principles is, well, I'm not going to say I'm completely okay with death, but a lot better than I was, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
when I can see it for the formless energy that we're all connected and that, life's just doing life and we're all going to die. And I don't know, it just looks to me like you don't always need someone to be there physically. It doesn't mean they're not there. I can understand that a lot more now.
Absolutely.
It's a lot more peace around it.
Yeah.
I don't know if my connection's very good. Can you hear me all right?
You okay? Can you still hear me, Lucy?
Yeah, I can
'Cause
hear
it's
you.
frozen at this end.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Can you still hear?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Sue?
She's coming back.
Sue, she's
Yeah?
coming back now. She's
Okay.
coming back.
Hello.
Okay, lovey.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear
Still
me?
here?
Are you all still there?
Hello.
Yeah.
Are you having fun without me?
Let's talk amongst ourselves.
Can you hear
Any
me, Sue?
questions?
Oh gosh.
This is crazy.
Come on, Crystal, you can come up with a question, I'm sure.
I know. How are you doing, Sue? I know it's amazing just hearing what you're speaking about. I mean, that's amazing what you're doing with the community and everything. And the feelings you're getting from it is just a miracle in itself. It's called the gift of life, Sue, and
Yeah.
yeah, what strikes me with the principles is as well is that I've been feeling more things in depth, but actually knowing that what I'm feeling at the time is has come via my thinking first. So I know that my thoughts have come in, even if I haven't seen the thought come in, has made me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And if it's not good thoughts and it's not a good feeling, I'm just trying to just not really put anything on it, any attachment. Gosh, that's amazing. Just not putting any attachment on it at all and just letting it be. And then it's just like, it passes through itself and then it changes again. And yeah, I just don't take myself too serious anymore, Sue.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, on a personal level, I'm just changing to my iPad because I think mine's frozen as well.
All right.
But on a, I don't know how many people we've got with us. But
Time to sing Let It Go.
yeah.
Let it go, let it go.
But
Frozen.
the interesting thing that's been happening for me, so if I scan around the room,
Where's she gone?
Can you hear me? I'm here.
Yeah, I can, Lucy. Oh
Sue,
God.
you seem to have gone quiet.
Sue. Have you had a good day then, Lucy?
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. Sue, we can't hear you. She's still chattering away, I think.
Yeah. I was gonna say before she comes back. Oh, she's here. She's here. Sue,
Her video's on, but there's no sound.
where's your sound at, Sue? Where have you gone?
Right, what were you saying, Crystal? And I'll see if I can help or whatever you're on about.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm just going through a lot of different things in my life at the minute. A big one is I've got to find somewhere to live. I've looked into a flat renting. I won't get any housing benefit because I work part-time 16 hours and I'm doing my singing, and they take that into consideration, so it kind of cancels it out. I've checked on the calculation system online. So the other option is a house share. I live with my mum and stepdad currently, but to be honest, it's not good. We're not getting on very well, all of us. And it's really sad because I've lived with them most of my life, but I'm kind of 35 now and I want to move out, have my own independence and have a room sharing a house. I've looked at the prices for that, £400 a month with the bills included. So I think I could definitely manage that on just over 500 a month of my job. Ideally, I don't work Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, so hopefully I'll be able to get another job to tie in with that. I do have to say that I do sing because I am a self-employed singer for gigs, for weddings, occasions and everything. So I need to tell them that I do my music because they would catch up with me in the end and I'd be basically in the shit, you know, because they'd be like, you know, they'd be down on me like a ton of bricks. And then me and my mum had a horrible argument the other day, and my brothers found out, and they've said if it happens again, they will actually literally chuck me out the house. It's hard. Unfortunately, with my doctor, I've had to come off an injection that I've had for the last 8 years. I was in a relationship, do you know, the contraception injection? I've basically been having that for 8 years to stop me getting pregnant, and I've come off it for 2 weeks, and it is something to do with my hormones, obviously, because I haven't had the injection. So I've got a nice capsule called Primrose Oil, and it's a herbal one from Holland and Barrett, and I'm having one a day, and hopefully that'll even out my hormones a lot more and level me out. I don't recognise the person I am, to be honest, especially when it's clouded my judgment, clouded my thoughts, clouding all my feelings, clouding my emotions, everything, you know. And it's horrible because I want it to go, but it will go and it will settle, but it has to take at least a couple of weeks for it to get out of my system. I mean, I've had it for 8 years.
Yeah, so it's going to have an impact on you.
Yeah, so I'm really actually having a bit of a hard time. You can see the pattern there, can't you? But again, I'm not trying to put too much thinking and thought on it.
And that's what we do, isn't it, as humans? We try to think our way out of it. And it was really interesting today at the show. Deb had got this, not entirely sure what it was, but it was some kind of weaved thing, and you put it on your fingers like this, so imagine it's in between my fingers here, and the more you try to pull your fingers out of it, it tightens. So she was explaining to people that how that works the same as life. The more we try to get out of the situation, it's harder and harder and harder. And when we just relax and just let it do its thing, it loosens its grip. And it's kind of like the same with thinking, you know, as much as life is still always going to do life, and the shit you're going through, we're always going to go through shit. Life's going to throw shit at us. And
yeah,
it's
exactly.
horrible.
You're right, Lucy.
It's
And actually, if in the moment it's horrible, but because I know this understanding, it's so much more easier, a lot easier. Oh God, yeah. If I didn't know this at all, I would be nervous wreck. I'd be crying, I'd be screaming, I'd be, you know. Now, my mum and my stepdad think because of my behaviour patterns, they think I've got a mental problem, right? And they said I need to go and see a counsellor and a psychiatrist to talk about my problems because I've been like this since I was a child. I've got a behavioural problem, right? This is what they think. But I know I haven't. But would it do me any harm going to talk to a counsellor, do you think, or a psychiatrist?
Personally, you've got to follow your own wisdom. I mean, I wouldn't, but that's entirely, you know, to me, it looks like we go through life, things happen, and we do what feels right for us in the moment. You know, I get headaches sometimes, but to me, it looks like I know that my headache's going to pass, but I don't want a headache. So sometimes I take a tablet and sometimes I don't. you've just got to be.
Yeah, I'm like that. Yeah. Sometimes I don't want to take one, and then sometimes I can't be bothered, and I just say, right, come on, we'll take an ibuprofen, you know, and it'll go. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I don't think I need to see a psychiatrist or a counsellor. I mean, come on, we all get caught up in our thinking. We're human beings. We can act really angry and venomous and evil at times, but we're not evil people. It's just in that moment we just react because it looks real to us and it looks the right thing to do. Well, it might not look the right thing to do, but you do it. And then I feel rubbish after, because I feel sad and I feel upset and I feel guilty and I feel hurt, and I want to, you know, apologise to the person. I mean, me and my mum are very, very close, right? We're very close. She wouldn't like to admit it, but we are quite alike in similar ways. And I think because my mum's generation's, Lucy's 71 and I'm 35, it's kind of the age gap as well. And living in such a small confined space, 3 of us, that is why I need to move out. I need to spread my wings. I need my own independence. And then I know for definite our relationship would be a whole lot better.
It sure looks that way, doesn't it?
It'd be better for all of us.
Sneaky thought, make it look that way.
Yeah.
I think Sue might be back with us now.
I thought you'd frozen. I'd frozen.
Yeah, I think you had. So I'm gonna.
Sorry about that.
Is it all right if I mute you again, Crystal, and then?
Yeah.
All right. Right.
Yeah, Lucy, it was really interesting. Crystal asked me a question about, you know, she knows
if you'd like to talk about the question, that would be.
Yeah, she knows about me growing the community here.
Yeah.
But she was asking about that on a personal level. Well, we decided, my partner and I decided that everything had been clunking here in Saltburn in terms of growth and work and finance and all sorts of stuff. So we thought what was really clear was to sell a house. So basically we put the house up for sale to test the market. The first people that came in loved the feeling, loved the house, bought it, cash. So I basically got the contract on the table downstairs. We haven't a clue what we're doing. We've sold our furniture. We've got some boxes to store. And we're going moment to moment with this one. And the flow just seems to be there.
It does, yeah. I don't know if you heard what I was just saying to Crystal about the finger thing that Deb was saying today about when we try to get out of, you know, when we try to basically mess with the system and control what isn't ours to control. And then as soon as we relax and realise we're not the ones in control, there's something bigger there at play.
Yeah,
absolutely. It just all falls into place and unfolds, doesn't it?
And you know what? Genuinely, for the first time in my life, that's exactly what it feels like. Mm-hmm. The somewhat more is kind of just holding the space.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's just trust. For me, anyway, it's just trusting that. That's always there. And the only reason we think it's not is because of thought that comes in and takes us away from that truth and that.
Absolutely. And the thing that I would have to say back to Crystal as well is your superpower is your thought. It's your life force, Crystal. So everything that's created in your life is coming through you. Mm. So drop away. When some thinking comes up around, like you saying about mum and everything, let that drop away. Just love that woman.
That's the key, isn't it? The love again. You know, it's do an online membership, and I've been writing a little bit about love this week for that. And it's the whole. When we fight, you know, when we fight things, it just keeps it in place, and when we just love it, it blossoms and grows, doesn't it?
And the love comes through. Yeah. Through us. Mm. It's the one thing that connects everybody.
Yeah.
And when you just allow that to happen, the magic happens.
Yeah. It is, as in Deb's words, seeing through the stories.
Yeah.
Back to what's creating. Bring it back to what's creating your experience.
I mean, you know, for my own mum, Crystal, you know, any one of us could say, well, this has happened and that's happened throughout our lives. But I look at my mum now and everything just falls away. I just remember about, you know, her bringing me forth into the world, and I honour that.
So just coming back to what you said there, that was beautiful what you shared, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing that with me, because I needed to hear it. I am struggling at the moment, I am, but I know what you're saying. It's all coming via me, and everything is created via myself, and it's not anything else or the outside circumstances of what I'm going through. And I love the fact that we just need to love anyways, even when we're going through shit, horrible, nasty times with people or circumstances. We can still see the love through all of the rubbish. We can see the love, and the love will guide us, and the wisdom will show me.
Absolutely. It's the laser that just melts everything away.
It does feel very, 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 what's the word? Pressured for me right now, in the sense I've got to find somewhere to live, I've got to find a house share, I've got a room share, mum wants me out, my brothers want me out, you know, all this sort of stuff.
Crystal, you don't have to work it out.
No, I don't.
You don't have to work it out.
No.
When you're ready to shift, the flow goes with you.
Yeah.
So just let it happen. Just let it happen. Don't fight it, just let it happen.
Just let it happen, yeah. Also, Lucy Sue is an amazing lady, because I met her at the Dickon weekend. The first one was Rydal, and then also I sang at the one in Kendal, a spiritual song called May It Be, and I really lifted everybody's hearts and soul in that song and in that moment. And me and Sue spoke again a couple of times after that, and I need to share this with you. This is incredible. She had an animal book in front of her, didn't you, Sue? And I said, I've just seen a black raven outside my window, my bedroom window, drinking some water. I said, I've been thinking about Dave Ellery. He said, well, that's Dave, in the spirit of an animal, of the raven, there for you. And then she said, the funny thing is I've got my animal book out, and it's on the black crow, And you sent me, didn't you, Sue, the information on it? And it was just so relevant, not to put my trust in everyone all the time, you know, be on my guard. And
yeah, but I think the thing to say there, Crystal, that you've not got to forget is when you're quiet enough, you hear the whispers and you see the signs.
Yeah, when you're quiet. I tell you who I'm absolutely loving at the moment online, Sue and Lucy and Gavin. I'm really enjoying Muji Sankar, and he's an Indian guy, and he's a bit like the Dalai Lama, but an Indian version, and he's unbelievable. And yeah, we are not just a body with a spirit. We are so much more. We're a soul, and we are never who we think we are from moment to moment. And it's just our thoughts that tell us different. We're so much more. We're actually stardust wrapped in skin.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're not fixed.
Yeah.
I just thought creative.
No. And I think because I'm really happy I've come on tonight, because I'm really happy you're on, Lucy and Sue. Thank you, because I kind of needed to share what I'm going through, kind of thing, at the minute. I've got lots of positive things happening, but it just seems quite a daunting thing. I've lived at home now for the last 2 years with my mum and Clive. I've got quite cushy, quite comfortable, and now the universe and the wisdom is pushing me when it will happen naturally. Like you say, Lucy, it'll naturally happen and unfold how it's meant to, but let it happen, Sue. But it will get a room share and a house share, double room, and I think once I get the independence again and a bit of space, I can go a lot more quiet.
And you'll fly.
Yeah.
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 Oh, thank you, Crystal, for sharing anyway.
It's all right.
Meet you again.
I mean, we're all human at the end of the day.
I'm just going to meet you again for a bit and see if Sue wouldn't mind, because sometimes we have a lot of new people on here. If you would mind explaining what the principles are.
Yeah, of course. I'll mute it. You're all right.
Right.
Me explaining.
Yeah, tell me what the principles are, Sue, and what you see. Go on.
Oh my goodness.
Great one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Mhm.
Well, I think for me, the whole thing around thought is genuinely that it is the superpower. It is the life force that brings everything. Like it kind of just brings everything out for us. And the consciousness bit is the stuff that makes us aware of all of that brings it all alive.
Mm.
And I think the other bit for me with mind is that whole essence of the formless and everything else that surrounds us. It's the intelligence of all things, whatever anybody wants to call that. So, all three are one for me. And they are so powerful and so simple that if people can just grasp hold and just almost like allow that burning, I'll call it a spark, but just allow that purity that they were born with to just open back up with this understanding. That's all that's happening. They know this stuff. They were born with this stuff. It is our life. There's nothing more. It's that simple. And for me, it's interesting as well that a lot of people, once they can get that whole thing around thought, then there's a little shift going on. And a lot of people say, oh, well, I can't stop thinking. You don't have to stop thinking. We have thoughts, thousands of them every day. It's the ones that we pay attention to that are the ones that create what's going to happen. So if they're not good, just let them fly through. Just let them melt away. That's all I say to people. And when you're creating, it's like a magnet. Goes back to love again. It's the stuff that attracts that beauty and that simplicity in the life that you want to see.
Mm. Yeah, I think for a lot of people, when they first come across this understanding, I think people tend to hear that it's about changing your thinking, and it's too simple a lot of the time to. I suppose it's because we're trying to intellectualize it, isn't it? But it's too simple that it just understanding where our experience is created from can have such a huge impact on our lives and be life changing, really.
Yeah. And I would say as well, what goes on for a lot of people is intellect and ego are always trying to work it out at first. Yeah. And I was just talking to a woman that's been on one of my programs and would love to take this further herself today, and she went, she was almost going, I can't get them out the way, and it's like that, that is it, playing with you, just let go.
Yeah.
And it's just, I guess it's just she was saying, I know, but I need to get more ground. It's like, you don't, just live your life.
We're so obsessed with getting somewhere else and not being where we are, aren't we? I don't want to feel this, and I want to get this, and I want to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly, you'd giggle. Like today, my niece has been meddling with this computer, and she's been looking for stuff for Amsterdam, and the house is empty. The sofas went today, and lots of stuff like that happened, and there's still a stillness in the house. And I think, I was talking with my sister and mum, and I was saying, there's no drama, there's nowhere to get to. I'm just being here. Mm. And that just brings some calm, some peace, some joy even. And like, it was like, there's nowhere to get to. No.
And a bit like with Crystal, with the not feeling okay, was so, obviously I do it myself, we all do it, we're human, and when I feel shit like that, it's just a constant battle between, I want to feel okay again, but why can't we just be okay with not being okay? It's just, that's a huge one, isn't it, for us to, it's okay to feel what we feel.
I love a story that Dickens tells about George Pransky, and it was based on George was on the sofa of his office, and he was kind of like slouching, and Dickens walked in and he said, George, you're okay? And George was like, yeah, I'm fine, I'll get over it, type of thing. So Dickens got on with his work, and like a little bit later on, George was still there slouching and all over the place. And sorry. And what happened? And what happened? I mean, basically, what happened? It was like George said, I'm just feeling this way out today, and like Dickens was like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you're allowed to be how you want to be in those days.
Mm.
It's okay. It's absolutely okay. As long, it's almost like what's driving you. It's going to pass.
Mm.
Yeah,
just knowing that. 1 second, Crystal. I'm just going to ask if anyone else has any questions or anything to say, and then if not, you can carry on. So, anybody else? Erica, Gavin, are you all good to listen to Crystal?
Hello. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah. Go on, Erica.
Right. Yeah. I feel like sort of taking a step backwards because the I don't know if it's called a challenge or problem. It's always great hearing everybody, and for me, I've almost spent not quite a year trying to understand or not quite get the concept of 3 Ps, but I seem to go back in a loop where because of my history, I don't know how to actually let go. So it's frustrated me constantly hearing that, because logically I understand all this, but this isn't always about logic, and it troubles me quite a great deal, because it's almost like there's a carrot in sort of teasing you a little bit, and you can possibly see the other side, but there's just I don't know if you call it a screen or a hurdle, I'm not really sure. I don't know how to let go, so I am caught in a thought process or mind thinking that's incredibly unhelpful, and feel quite envious in a way of others who seem to have grasped the concept of 3 Ps, the 3P principle, in the terms of whether you can describe it or not. You can just see the kind of calmness it brings, the peace it brings, in a way, despite huge challenges constantly in and out of going on in life. And I came into the 3 Ps due to my health and joining a trial program to do around that. And there were moments I experienced that, which was lovely. But I seem to be in a group, as I call it, where it's bit more than just difficult to do to get there. I do appreciate sometimes it will come when it's meant to, but there's nothing wrong with feeling very human and frustrated, going, yeah, am I just wasting my time with the 3 Ps? Is it compatible with other things? Blah, blah, blah. You know, the advice I had was to just hang on in there and stuff. And sometimes when I suppose just hear, I'm really glad to hear what I'm hearing. It just doesn't seem to click or resonate properly, or maybe I'm frightened of it. I don't know. I'm also not around enough people where you have, not top up, but you are reminded of a way of thinking that becomes a part of life, in that sense, when you're constantly surrounded by quite a lot of challenges and you've not quite fully connected with what that concept is, to kind of expect it to come out organically isn't there yet, or is if it isn't there, it's pretty buried in some ways. So that's just, I suppose, my feedback. And whether it's a query, it could be opening up a whole new kind of debate. I don't know.
Erica, do you mind? Do you mind if I ask, what do you like doing?
Sorry?
What do you like doing?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I wish I haven't been able to answer that for the last few years. So all the things I used to enjoy. So it's a bit of a journey of rediscovery, or I'm very aware that with some of my mental health, and I have physical and mental health, your ability to enjoy things, partly because of depression and also constant pain, it's kind of put on hold. Okay. So in anything I've ever have enjoyed, forgive the negativity I'm about to say, I've had an entire lifetime, including from childhood, like a lot of people who've had trauma or difficult childhood, where anything joyful was, this sounds strange, conditional. So there was a conditioner tied to it, was always brief, very brief, very, very brief, not long lasting, and was in some way linked to difficulty or sadness. So to actually experience true calmness and peace or a sense of joy, even when I go back as a child, is not something that was very much present throughout my childhood, including from birth.
Yeah. Do you like music?
I do. I listen to a variety of stuff, but yeah.
What kind?
Anything from dance, popular music, to sometimes classical, sometimes world music.
Is there one particular piece that you love?
Not presently. You're not the first person to have asked that in the last month, so it's like, no, not yet.
Yeah. I only asked that because I kind of link music to. I've got some memories around music. I've got some memories around food as well, which is quite. My partner always laughs at me because I can always remember different meals I have with people, and it's like, what? How come? So is there a particular food you like then?
Not helpful stuff at the moment because I'm really stressed with the PICS form I'm dealing with. So unfortunately, chocolate is my go-to, or sweet things, and I'm pre-diabetic, so it's not ideal. So not really. Well, actually, I don't know how to answer that at present. Sounds odd. There are reasons.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm just generally interested. You just sound like
you.
a really lovely woman. Just wanted to know.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not used to hearing I'm a lovely woman. I often think of myself, like you said, I'm not given. I've been programmed with a lot of nonsense, shall we say, and unfortunately I've created a deep-rooted belief, and that needs to change. But change is not always as... I wish it was really easy. I must admit, some people on the 3 Ps I was introduced, they transformed in weeks and weeks. It's over a year.
Yeah, and no, you don't. I could say that. I could say me too. You don't. It's not a measurement. It's not a time. It's just hearing something. That's all. And it sounds like you've heard something, Erica. You're not broken. You never have been broken. You never will be broken. Ever, ever, ever. And that beauty, that love, that intelligence, that whole thing that you were born with is just under the surface. Just, it's there. You are there. You've always been there. Always, always.
I think that's the thing. It's what you're saying. I can see there's an actual glimpse of that. There's reality.
Mm-hmm.
So weird when you've had an entire lifetime where that doesn't feel real, or you've never. You started. I've heard this on and off through maybe my 20s and 30s, now I'm in my early 40s. But for some reason, life has kept saying that's not true, and I know that's not. There isn't a right or wrong. I know that's with listening to yourselves and others. I know there is something else. I'm puzzled why I won't embrace it, or can't embrace it, or let that surface blossom. I can, psychologically speaking, I can probably say, because I'm frightened, blah, 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 lots of things. So, bye, Gavin.
Bye, Gavin.
Good luck.
Joining us.
Oh, I'm not gone. I can't find you. I'm listening.
He's gone now.
No, I'm here.
So yeah. So though I hear I'm not broken, though I'm hearing that, believing that and understanding what that feels like in a daily sense, and truly experiencing that when I say the right level, the true connectedness to yourself and your soul.
Mm-hmm.
I've only had a taster of that once when I was in hospital when I was in my early 20s. And it is a profound feeling. And in my case, it went away. Or not went away, I don't know where it is. So, but of course, it's always lurking somewhere within, or is part of who you are. It's just, I'm detached. I'm very disconnected. And when I say distrusting, not distrusting of that, maybe distrusting of life itself, and trusting. A lot of people who come through 3Bs, they've had a lot of stuff happen in their life. I'm no exception to that rule. I just can't. I seem to be challenged how to meet the bridge of that inner connectiveness and allow true liberation to come forth, really, and then grow, really let that grow and be the better person that's somewhere that's always wanted to be inside, and be my own person. So I'm also a twin, so it gets interesting and complicated.
You sound very connected to me, Erica. You're on connection in the internet. You're on connection. You speak beautifully.
I've learned to over the decades, because I had to learn how to talk, because from my childhood I was suppressed from talking or feeling or allowed to express things. But though I've become articulate,
I think the thing to
articulate's a good cover. So,
Erica, I think the thing to know as well, that the one thing that I love about the principles, it's different, because I've studied counselling and lots of other stuff.
I've been to lots of them, yeah.
And kind of thrown that stuff away now. So, can you see that? The one, I'm sorry if it's the wrong way, but this bit's the past here. The one thing that I love about the principles now.
God, sadly, I can't see it. I can see you pointing something, but I can't see it.
It says past.
Right. Oh, yeah, past, present, and future.
What I love about this is when I draw this diagram when I'm in a class or a session or whatever you want to call it, the best bit of information that I ever give anybody nowadays is the past no longer exists, so it needs to rest in peace. The only way that we keep it alive now is with our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
We are the driver of those thoughts. The only way that past is kept alive is with our thinking.
Yeah.
So what happens when we let go, we allow ourselves, we let go, that gives us a great big space inside of us. And the exciting thing is once we start to get that, you realise that the future, you've got no control over, so there's no point even concerning yourself about that. So we give ourselves a big present, which is about being here in the moment. And that is when the magic happens. So on one level, there's nowhere to get to at all. You know, it's once you know you're the driver of that thinking, you are the superpower, you are the life force. That whole thing about just letting go, it's a bit like breathing. We breathe out and we breathe in, and we breathe out and we breathe in, and that's natural. But I don't know what you've been like when you've stressed, but I know when I feel stressed, I go, and it's almost like I forget to breathe. And that to me feels what flow's like. That when I'm not in my thinking, I can feel a sense of that in and out. When I get into a load of thinking, I feel myself go. So that's when I say drop away. It's like drop out of that. And that's the best.
That's the bit of that, because I've heard exactly what you've said. And reassuringly so many times since coming to 3Ps. That's what I'm struggling to. It sounds odd. I understand what you're saying, but I can't seem to connect to what the experience, because that is what it is. That's what I can see what it is. And I also have had a tiny experience of that by being very unwell previously. And you're right, it is all that. What doesn't make sense is not. It's like, I feel like saying to you, how'd you get there? How'd you do that? Because there is no manual. There is no manual to this.
You're already there. There'll probably be a time in the day when that beautiful Erica just goes, wow.
I hope so, because it's like you know this in your heart, you know this in your mind. Why is your soul and in that sense just not allowing yourself to do experience?
Erica, have you got a teddy bear?
Yes, yeah, another couple. Yeah.
What does a teddy bear's arms look like?
Nice and wide open. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go. If you've got a teddy bear in your house, girl, you know how to do it.
I sometimes do wonder if it's to do also with the profound concept of worth and deserving, when you may have had an entire message of not feeling worthy or deserving or both. If that's potentially something somebody said about a couple of months ago, I do sometimes wonder if that's what's preventing me from enjoying and receiving the gift of this inner wisdom. Is, do I feel worthy of it? Am I actually deserving of it? It's something somebody said to me, and it sort of gently hit me like a sledgehammer, going, going, that might explain a lot. But anyway, I've talked enough. But I thank you for what you're saying, and I'll keep listening.
You've got nowhere to get to, Erica. You're doing beautifully.
That's very kind. I suppose it's an odd one when you say got nowhere to get to. It's like, well, that's true. There's another part kind of going, well, if I've got nowhere to get to and it's here, where is it? It's right in front of me. Why is it hide and seek?
As soon as you stop looking, it appears.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I look forward to when I truly connect in that sense, as I've seen so many others do so, and see how it's just changed their entire perception and experience of life, despite some heavy stuff, which, like a lot of others here, I am going through quite some major stuff in life. Who isn't? It would just be so much better not to be so stressed out by it in quite the same way. I know 3Ps doesn't stop stress, but it certainly gives you a different perspective on how to manage it and yourself and life in general, and how you can just connect to others better in that sense. So I look forward to that, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you.
Sue?
Yeah, I'm
How
here.
are you for time? Because we normally only do an hour, but I think Crystal still wants to say something, so entirely up to you.
Can you still hear me? Because my computer's gone daft again.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think Crystal wants to ask something else, but obviously we've gone over the time, so it's entirely up to you if you want to carry on chatting or if you need to go.
No, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah, can you hear Sue all right, Crystal?
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Mark
Hello.
calling us and...
Can we all hear each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hiya. Yeah, so thank you very much, Erica, for sharing your beautiful story with us and your feelings of how you see the world and yourself and other people and the universe. Just coming back to what you said about the principles do help us in times of stress, because I think with what I've been going through recently, I've been really caught up in all of my thinking all in one go. Not bitty, but all in one go. So it's all just come flooding like a river through me. And then I thought, oh no, I've panicked, haven't I, Sue? And I've had to act and stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, if I had a pause, this is where we've got to practice the pause here. Right, observe the thought, observe it, but don't act on it. If it's not serving you, the easiest thing to do is just to be the observer of our thoughts. If they're good thoughts and the happy thoughts and they're serving you, then great, act on them by all means. But if they're not good thoughts at all,
Ignore them.
or if they can't ignore them, let them pop up through the day in your head, but don't put any attachment onto them or any meaning onto them. Know that they're there, acknowledge that they're there, but just carry on with your day, whatever you're doing, and more often than not it will just pass through and you'll feel better instantly, and then you'll have a new fresh thought around something else.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Sounds good to me.
Yes, so to Erica, with your thinking, Erica, you don't have to believe everything you think about you or your life. Let it pass through. Like I say, observe them. Would you say that's right, Sue? Observe your thoughts, Lucy. Just be the observer of your thoughts, but you don't have to act from them thoughts, do you?
Nope.
Nope. We don't have to act from them.
No. And you see, it's hard actually, because you get caught out, don't you? Especially when you're thinking over and over again over different stuff and things are happening. Like, things in your head physically are happening in your life. It's not just your thinking. You're physically experiencing stuff, aren't you? You know, you're touching things. You're physically out in the world, in nature, whatever you're doing. You're physically doing it. I know it's all coming from the psychological aspect, our life being created from that, but we are physically in the physical world as well. We've got to remember how our body feels, and you know.
Yeah.
So, well, you know, when you get angry or something, you're having a reaction physically in your body, aren't you? A chemical reaction, aren't you, as well?
Yeah.
Not just your mind, is it? It's more than that. It's physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
Oh. The one thing I can't do anymore is blame anyone else for my circumstances or problems or issues. It's all coming from me. I can't blame another person or an outside circumstance. My bank balance being low, so I feel crap because I can't go for a Chinese. Or, I mean, I'm sat in a traffic jam and I'm stuck in a traffic jam and I can't get past it. You know, it's life, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Throws all sorts of stuff to you. but with this understanding of the principles, and it must work because it's changing people's lives left, right, and centre. Some people get it in an instant, some people take years, you know, some people just don't get it, but it's happening. The fundamental truth is we have mind, consciousness, and thought, and it's happening. It's happening now.
Yeah.
Till the day we die, and it's still happening when we go to ash, to the ground again.
Absolutely.
We're all oneness. We're all part of the same stuff as the planets, the earth, everything.
Yeah.
We're stardust wrapped in skin.
You love that one.
Yeah.
Right, thank you,
Yeah.
Crystal. It's so nice to hear what you have to say.
It's all right. No, I should shut up really because I need to let other people speak.
Nice.
But I have done, you know. I mean, I wouldn't take over or anything, you know. You have to tell me, but I'm passionate like you all and about all of this, and
yeah,
it's a lovely thing we all share, and we all can just be ourselves with each other because we know we're all coming from the same place.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, it's been really lovely for this webinar, and I'm going to let Sue go now. Okay, are you still there?
Oh, Sue, are you there, Sue?
Or was it
She's got
my
her hands like this in a prayer position. I'm thinking, is she? I think she's frozen on the screen. Oh.
I don't know. I'm just going to mute you anyway, Crystal. And
Oh no, she's there.
She is there, yeah.
Are you there? Oh, I love her to bits.
She's lovely.
Love you all to bits.
Sue, are you there? She keeps popping off. Okay.
Are you going to be? Where do you share this webinar, Lucy?
It goes on.
Do you share it on?
Yeah, on Debra's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You just have to subscribe to that, Debra Simmons, and then all the webinars are on there from every week. So, right, I think we've lost Sue. So we've gone over the time anyway. So I'm going to end it. But it was lovely to listen to Sue tonight anyway. So, and thank you for the questions from Crystal and Erica. And next week we've got Molly Gordon on our webinar. So that'd be lovely if we have you all to join us.
Okay, that'd be lovely. And you take